All right.
Hello,
So,
hello.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, awesome. So, first off, congratulations to Uncomfortably Numb as you guys got yourselves the domination victory. And I don't know if the standings are updated, but that actually puts you guys at number one at the moment.
Oh, wow. Feels good.
Yeah, it's pretty good to hear considering some of our roster is out of the country right now, so we're pleased to be able to keep that high up spot at least.
Oh, yeah. I gotta ask. So, like the first game, um, what were your guys' thoughts after the game? Did you think you guys had like this draft and had everything in the bag to the point where like you'd have a 20-0 kill game?
Okay, so the first game was actually really interesting because the draft did not at all work out how we expected it to, but any game where you get Hanzo and Phoenix as your DPS, you're pretty happy anyway. And it was interesting because our rotations worked out really well so that we were able to lock down all the lanes, and it was sort of just like an inherent communication. Nobody was really planning out the rotation, but they just sort of see where the enemies were, see where they needed to be, and just lock down the map. And that basically just snowballed us into that 20-0 where they were never able to any fight or any positioning at any point. And
Oh yeah. I mean, I think there was a point there. I don't know if he actually was tilted, but Key looked tilted. Patches grabbed Mouth, and Mouth was just sitting out in the middle of the lane near his keep, and he didn't move like an inch.
oh no.
Mm. Patches had a
Yeah,
really
I
good
didn't
game.
notice that personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if a team got a little bit demoralized after that game worked out the way it did for the first two turn-ins at the very least.
Hmm?
Uh, Certainly in Hero League, you see people give up at that point, so it wouldn't be too surprising if somebody was not giving it their all, but I'm sure they tried to come back in game two for sure.
Yeah. Now, what did you guys think that when they gave you Garage, Hanzo, and Phoenix all as your first, first prior to the second ban phase, were you kind of like bewildered that they allowed you guys to get all those picks?
In game one, you mean?
Oh yeah, in game one. Sorry.
Yeah. Um.
They basically
It
just
was a
tried to
little
lock
bit
down.
surprising. Yeah.
Sorry, no. Yeah, they basically just tried to lock down the healer pick because they banned. Well, I guess we banned the Stukov. They picked Malfurion, which are two that I play a bit more, and then uh, left me with Lucio, which ended up working out really well against the ETC, and even Patches throwing me in front of their team at some point just to boop them more into our team. Uh, it went really well.
Yeah, I mean that game looked really good. Were you guys worried at all? I know that um, at least like in the first, let's say like first minute, that's the only time that there was like maybe some problems for you guys from my view as the caster. Like Spectre was losing the bot lane initially because Sonya's a stronger solo laner than Alarak. Were you guys at all concerned at that point, or was just kind of like, well, we're winning every other lane at that point and it doesn't matter?
Well, the thing with the Alarak lane matchup is, yeah, Sonya has the better late wave clear early game, but Alarak for most of the mid game is a lot stronger, and as long as you can prevent them from getting that 20 spike where Sonya gets her version of the hardened shield, the ignore pain, then Alarak's just going to be more of a contributor to the game. And the thing is, he can hold that lane, and if you gank him a couple times, then you're fine, especially on a small map where like Tomb of the Spider Queen, where rotation really doesn't cost you anything. And since we had all that wave clear on our team, the Phoenix and the Hanzo and everything, it cost us absolutely nothing to go down there and help him out a little bit.
Yeah,
All
it definitely didn't. I don't know. I mentioned during my cast, it seemed like Otip was disrespecting you guys at certain points of that matchup down there where he was actually 2v1ing and got punished by Patches Inspector. Now, in game two, during the draft, did you guys expect to get Hanzo and Phoenix again after that?
Personally, I was expecting a ban on one of those heroes, but they prioritized that Maiev. And while Maiev is a very solid hero, I don't think that she's that great against a team comp with those characters like Hanzo and Phoenix, where they can just kind of split off from the rest of the team and not really care what's going on, because it's really hard for her to get resets while damaging those important damage dealing characters.
Yep.
So while I wasn't expecting it, their pick did make sense until the point where they just did not pick either Hanzo or Phoenix. If they had picked one of those characters, it would have been far more understandable.
Yeah. Now, the way the game played out was kind of interesting to me in that the one tricks seemed to be winning a lot more of the engagements, but you guys had taken such an early lead that you had taken both forts and were well positioned to get, other DKs in the future. Were you guys at all concerned when they were winning those engagements and worried about like potentially, late game rolling around them all of a sudden like wiping you guys?
Pilot, you want to take this one? I'm not sure if he's here.
I guess that's a no. He doesn't want to take it.
All right. Okay. So personally, I wasn't worried because we were really controlling the lanes better than them, in my opinion. And once you get level 4 and Hanzo's able to clear those waves, the Hanzo Phoenix is just so hard to deal with, because Phoenix's splash attack just has excellent clear. Hanzo can solo lane or be part of that 3-man to dominate whatever he's doing. And even if they're winning engages, we're taking control of the map overall. So basically, in the way Dragonshire works is all you need is a solid push bottom lane once the fort is dead. Win the game, you get those to push with you. And once we got that fort down bottom lane, I was fairly confident that we were in a very good spot, and it would take some serious misplay to fall behind from that point in the game. So personally, I wasn't too worried about the team fights. I acknowledged that they had a team fight composition with that Maiev for sure and the Diablo. Like they're gonna get the occasional decent engage where they pick off one of your team members, but if you have the map control, then you're still in a decent spot even if you're behind in the fights.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid explanation on kind of thought on why it wasn't a big deal. Now, despite that, did you guys expect to end it so quickly? I mean, that was a like 13-minute, 30-second game. Not nearly as fast as really, I guess, some of the Spider Queen, but it was still a very fast game where you ended it on core after you got that DK on the keep.
So that might have been partially due to my call there. So no disrespect to the other team at all, but I'm at a friend's house right now playing at his computer, and I was drinking some fairly strong alcohol during that match. So I just wanted to get the game over as fast as possible, and made the somewhat bold call to go core at the end, and it worked out. So I'm pretty happy with it. But if we were going to fall behind at any point in that game, it was probably there. And if I were a bit more passive, I probably would have just said, well, we should pressure the mid cape instead. And if game 1 had been closer, I probably still would have made that call. But I felt like we had the better coordination as a team in general, so yep. I felt like we could pull it off, and we did, so it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for you guys. I actually made mention of how you didn't get much damage onto the other keep, and it was just kind of like the DK still there. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not sure why the DK is still here, because you can't get much else going on. But then like you guys get kills and you end the game off of it.
So, yeah. Yeah, it was a very disorganized fight for sure, but sometimes if you're disorganized, then the other team doesn't know what you're doing, so it works out anyway.
It's basically, organized chaos, if you will. Like, you're creating chaos amongst
Yeah.
yourselves, and
Yeah.
the enemy team has no clue what's going on, so now they're chaotic and don't know what to call.
For sure. And against the Diablo, you certainly don't want them to be able to predict what you're doing anyway, because Diablo could have set up a few wall bangs against me there as the Hanzo. Fortunately, he didn't, and the chaos kind of keeps him a little bit more distracted, so he doesn't see those perfect engages.
So, one question I like to ask everyone is basically what is shot calling and comms like for you and your team? Everyone has a different style, and what works for you?
Um, so right now, it's actually really bad for our team, not gonna lie. Our shot calling is not what it should be, and that's because our main shot caller is out of the country
Ah,
and not participating in our games. And myself, I do have experience shot calling, but I participated in some BlizzCon qualifiers like in the first season, and it wasn't this, more amateur league, and I'm not really sure about the capabilities of the team, so I sort of just stepped back. So basically, it was just patches telling us the main things to do, but there weren't any really specific shot calls. It was just, we should probably do camps now. We should go to their camp. Whereas when Famous is on the team, he's calling out targets, calling out who should turn in gems and everything onto Spider Queen. So really, what you want is that one person on the team who everybody defers to, and we don't have that at this point. It's more of a mix of people making decisions, and it bit more chaos like we saw in those games.
so
So
it's
hopefully we'll be back on point soon.
I guess I'd summarize that then. It's kind of like right now a Hero League match where people are trying to maybe step up and do some shot calling, but
Yeah,
not necessarily like at the same level as an organized team. In your
yeah, for sure. I'd equate it to like a high level Hero League match where
yeah.
people generally know what they're doing and they're trying to make the shot calls, but not everybody is necessarily listening or prepared to follow up. Uh, yeah, it's we're not at our peak right now for sure, but we'll get there.
I mean, I made a comment where your team, Mr. Monkey Man, if it was, picked up the stage camp the second they came up. I mean, like literally they spawned and he was there and he took it under 15 seconds. I was like, this might be the quickest I've ever seen any team, like even heroic teams. Like
Yeah.
usually they rotate after it has spawned. He was like ready to go very second it spawned and picked it up so quick.
So usually you only see that happening when there's not too much on the map that you can take in terms of objectives at that point. So I'm not sure what exact scenario you're talking about, but that might have been the scenario.
Yeah.
I know certainly in Hero League, I'll be looking at the camp timers when there's no objectives up to see, okay, I need to be here this exact second. But it wasn't a shot call, that was his decision entirely. So I'm not sure the exact logic behind it.
So it's like you said, high level hero league. Low level hero
Yeah,
league, you wouldn't expect anyone to ever pick up that siege camp, basically.
yeah.
Uh,
These games were basically what you'd expect from a low master Hero League game. That was the play level here.
okay, okay, so yeah, that would make sense. Now, um, my final question for you guys is, what have you or your team learned over like the past month, 2 months maybe, that has really improved your gameplay as a team or as an individual?
Well, for our team in particular, a lot of the members picked up this game simply to play on a team with friends. Like we're all pretty much friends in real life. I know I met some of these people through my university and they wanted me to participate. So every game we're getting better, and the big advantage of having people for start playing the game for competitive is that's the habits they learn. So a lot of these people aren't learning bad habits from quick match or hero league where you sort of do your own thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
like in hero league, I know there's a lot of grandmaster, well, not a lot, but half a dozen grandmaster players who just split push all game every game, and that's what wins them the game. And our teammates haven't learn those habits. So it's really just every game we're getting better because we're learning more and more how to work as a team, getting more in synergy with each other, and developing those good teamwork habits like the rotations, the objective control. And honestly, I think the objective control is current our strongest feature in these games.
Yeah, that's definitely some good advice. Which is kind of like, I did Aikido back in the day, and there's a saying of which is like learn, relearn, like forget, basically, memorize it. Basically, people need to do that if they've had these bad habits. Forget everything they know about Heroes of the Storm. Walk away for like, I don't know, 2 months or something. Come back and learn all the good
You're cutting
habits.
out in party chat here. I'm not sure if people can hear you on stream, but
And they probably can. It's probably the sensitivity of
oh, okay.
of the in-game one. I was saying that uh, back in the day, I did Aikido, and there's
Hmm.
basically a saying of like learn and forget and relearn over and over again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so like this is kind of like a good example of that. Forget everything you know
Yeah.
about Heroes of the Storm and learn the good things to
Yeah.
do,
Exactly.
and you'll
Like
never do the bad things.
that's the thing. Like I've been grandmaster every season in this game, and I'm still having to adapt my play all the time to different scenarios. And certainly in these games, I can't pull off the same things that I would in a Hero League game because there's just so much more coordination
Yeah, definitely.
for this. So the advice that would get you better in coordinated team play is not gonna rank you up in Hero League and vice versa.
Yeah. So it's really figure out what you want to do. Do you want to be really good at Hero League, or do you want to be really
Yeah.
good at like, I guess, um, the game as it's supposed to be played? And sometimes they intersect to some degree. Like no understanding maps, understanding rotations,
Yeah.
and having micro skill. But oftentimes those two things don't have the same bearing either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things that people might note about our team is we're not necessarily the highest rank in the ranked play of this game. For example, we have a few silvers and everything, and some teams might be better players overall. But like I said, these people have learned how to play the game for the competitive scene, so that doesn't reflect their performance in the games whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely, definitely good news for those people out there who are like, can I play at a high level even though I'm silver? Like, yes,
Oh,
you probably
yeah.
can. Like, there's a
Yeah.
world of difference between the two sometimes.
For sure. I honestly believe that a bronze player could play at in Division A of NGS as long as they learned how to play on a team with their team and had enough experience. You don't need to be great at this game to participate in the competitive scene at all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations once again to you and your team, who have now, uh, at this current point of the week, are now number one in the standings. As long as the standings are actually accurate and reflect the correct points for all those teams, they'll be sitting at number one.
Yeah, thanks very much. And like I said, I'm just pleased that we managed to pull out a win while some of our team was gone, and our team captain, Famous, won't be too upset with us. I know the previous couple weeks when we were playing, he pointed out some of the flaws in our games that may have been in part my fault, but we got the win this week, so he can't be mad.
Yeah, I'm sure like the beatings will stop now that the morale has improved enough to like
Exactly.
win it, get you guys to number one. If you're not happy about being number one, I don't know what would be.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, have a good night.
You too.